Good day everyone, especially to you Ma'am Lois. I am Giselle Sanayan Isguera and I am the first one to discuss about the topic entitled the consonants. So what is consonants? Consonants are all the letters in the alphabet that are not vowels. So it means tanang letters nga except sa a, e, i, u, ginatawag na siyang consonants. They are speech sounds that are articulated with partial restrictions of the vocal tract when the air is pushed through from the glottis to the mouth. So, ang consonant sounds daw ay maproduce siya pinaagi sa pagpugong sa hangin or ang agianan sa hangin ay babag o na ay pagpugong. Kini ginapungan o ginapadayon nga naibabag aron makabuo sa maong tingog, which is the consonant sounds. So in short, in producing these sounds, the air is constricted. Unlike sa vowels nga dire-diretso ang paggawa sa hangin. Example, a, e, i, u, walay pagbabag. Pero kung example sa b, imo siyang pungan by lips. Uni mo i-release ang sound na ay constricted. And then another example is ki. Ang gigamit niya ay ang murag dool sa imong tilaok. Ki, murag imong giipit. So, that's all for consonants. Now, let's move on to the features of consonant sounds. But first, let us know about the importance of these. This is important kay ang paagi daw sa paghimong sa hangin samtang nagikan sa glottis paingon sa atong baba, makaapekto siya sa klase sa tunog nga atong maproduce. So the first one is the stops versus continuance. So, what is stops? Stops are sound levels in which the flow of the airstream is completely blocked. When we say completely, like complete. Wala joy bangag. An example of these are M, N, B, P. Kini daw ang hangin dili kalusot hangtod buhian kini. So it means ato sang pungan ang sound bago kini i-release. Example, ma. Ato sang i-completely itikom atong baba bago nato i-release. Ma. Another is p. Gamit atong lips ato siyang gipungan bago nato i-release. On the other hand, continuance are the sounds that are impeded but not airstream is not blocked. Kini daw na ay gamay nga babag sa hangin pero dili gyud siya mapugnan o bugos or completely. It means ato siyang pungan pero na ay gamay bangag. Example of this are ki. Ato siyang gipugong sa sod pero napaghihapoy ning gawas nga hangin nga gamay. So in contrast, stops is completely blocked. But on the other hand, continuance or na ay tuloy-tuloy nga sounds. Maybe it was black but not completely, na ay gamay nga bangag. So, let's move on to the sonorants versus obstruents. What is sonorants? Sonorants are a natural class of continuants which are articulated without the obstruction of the airstream. So, pareha sa gihapon sa continuance. Sonorants is Y obstruction or Y bangag. Sonorants walay babag o dili pungan ang agi sa hangin sa pagbuo sa maong tunog. Hapsay ang klaro sa tunog o ang hangin makalusot nga walay kusog nga pagpugong. So these include approximants, glides, liquids, nasals, and even vowels. In contrast to sonorants, obstruents are produced by obstructing airflows such as the articulation of ki or d. So obstruents, kabaliktaran sa sonorants. Kung sa sonorants is na walay pagpugong, ang obstruents is gipungan ang airflows or agianan sa hangin. So let's move on to sibilants versus aspirated. Sibilants are the hissing sounds, a natural class of fricatives. Fricatives means mga tingog or tunog nga gihimo pinaagi sa gamay nga babag sa agi sa hangin. So, parehas ra sa continuance. Maybe na-block siya pero na ay babag nga gamay. So, sibilants, tunog nga murag paitsa o murag nagsit-sit. Like, hissing sounds, murag sound sa has. So, example of this are S, sot. Murag, sa unang letter is na ay murag na ay murag pa hissing or pasit-sit. Sot. Another example is Z, zero. Na siya murag patuloy-tuloy nga sound nga the same sound as Z, zero. Okay. While aspirated sounds on the other hand are modified sounds produced with forceful expulsion of air. These include the sounds of H in hot or the P in pat, T in tap, the key in kill. Usually, kini ko ng aspirated sounds is murag na siya sound nga H pagkahuman o nimog litok sa usa ka unang letter. Example P. Kung imo na sundan og laing letter, or imo nang imong words murag na siya kasunod nga letter H. Pat, pat. Murag na kay gibuga nga H sound. Kana ko nung murag na hugot nga gininhawa nga nagikan sa ba ginatawag na aspiration. Ang aspirated sound suno nga gihimo pinaagi sa puso nga pagawa sa hangin human sa tunog. Mao to ang H in hot, hot. Murag na doble ang H, di ba? Hot, pat. Murag na PHET pero ang tinuod PAT ra siya. So kanang atong buga nga murag na H ginatawag na aspiration. So mao na aspirated sounds.
So, good day everyone, especially to you, Ma'am Lawis. So today I am the second reporter of this group, and so let's start. Suplop is a type of consonantal sounds produced by a single quick touch of the tongue against the roof of a mouth or another part of a vocal tract. Example, in many American English accent, the words butter, butter sounds like butter, butter, ladder, 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 and ladder sounds nearly identical with a plop. So to be clear, the first letter of the words is not a plop. Plop happens inside words, usually between vowels. So claps also used in the middle of words. Click, a type of consonant made by creating a vacuum in the mouth with the back of the tongue and then quickly releasing it. Then mechanism of click, like the tongue makes a quick flat strike, unlike a full stop where air pressure builds and it's then released, resulting in a pop sounds. So example of sounds like, so the sound is disapproval. So pulmonic versus non-pulmonic. So pulmonic, the word pulmonic comes from pulmo, which means lungs. In phonetics, it refers to the airflow used to produce speech sounds. Most speech sounds in our words language are made using air that comes out of the lungs. So these are called pulmonic aggressive sounds. So pulmonic aggressive means air is pushed out. So ang pulmonic is mauni ang ginagamit nato when we speaking. Like example, P as in pot, T as in top, K as in cut. So all of these are pulmonic because you're asking your lungs to push air out and create the sounds. So that is a pulmonic. Non-pulmonic. So non-pulmonic sounds are speech sounds that are not produced using air from the lungs. Unlike pulmonic sounds, which use air to push out from the lungs. So that is non-pulmonic. Adjectives. So adjectives are a type of non-pulmonic consonant, unlike most speech sounds that use air from the lungs, called pulmonic sounds. Adjective use a glottalic aggressive airstream mechanism. That means air is pushed out not from the lungs. It's pushed by raising the closed glottis. So the space between your vocal cords, that is adjectives. So implosive are non-pulmonic consonant sounds produced using a special airflow mechanism that doesn't rely on pushing air from the lungs. So they use a glottalic aggressive airstream mechanism, meaning the glottalic moves downward, pulling a small amount of air into the mouth. So that is implosive. Again, implosive is a glottis moves downward, pulling a small amount of air into the mouth. So that is implosive.
Good day everyone, especially to you Ma'am Lawis. My name is Roxanne E. De Los Santos and I will be the one who will discuss the topic about the articulatory features of consonants. But before we start, have you ever wondered how our teeth, tongue, and lips team up to make sounds when we speak? Well, that's what we call the place of articulation. And so today, I will be sharing about the three parts of the place of articulation. The first one is bilabial. From the word itself, bi means two, and the labial means lips. So, bilabial sounds are made when both lips come together. Like, try saying p, p as in pen, b as in bat, and m as in mom. So, as you have noticed, your top lip and bottom lips meet together to shape or block the air. Next up is the labiodental. Labiodental kay ang lower lip ug ang upper teeth nato more nang team up. Like ang hangin kay mupastro siya sa small gap bitaw when our lower lip touches the upper teeth. Try saying f as like fan, and or maybe v or van in the word. So you can actually see my teeth when I form the sound. And notice how our lower lip rests on our upper teeth. That's the labiodental action. Now for the interdental. Sa interdental, these are the sounds that are produced by placing the tip of our tongue between the teeth. Not the whole tongue, just the tip of the teeth. I mean the tongue. And we do this by the two TH sounds in English. The first one, we have the unvoiced TH. Like, it sounds like t, t. And the second one is the voiced one, which sounds like d, d. And for example, sa voiceless guy, ting, ting. Para mahibawaan nato kung na ba siya vibration or wala, i-place na nimo ang imong fingers sa imong throat if naa ba siya. And ma-identify nato if na ba vibration or wala. Like ting or tang. Sa voice na pod, ang example sa voice kay this or that. Na this or that. And that's all for my part. The next number will be continuing with the other places of articulation. Thank you.
Continuing the articulatory features of consonant, starting with alveolar. The tongue touches or goes near the alveolar ridge or just behind the upper teeth. Its sound is t, d, s, and z, and n. So when I try to articulate these sounds, my tongue is usually behind my upper teeth or about to touch or near the alveolar ridge. Okay, so for example here, time, time, time. Notice how your tongue is just behind your teeth when you try to articulate that word. Day, day. Pay attention to your tongue, it's just behind your upper teeth. Zero, zero. Okay, so that is alveolar. When articulating, your tongue is behind your upper teeth or goes near in your alveolar ridge. Next is the palato-alveolar. Blade of the tongue touches the area behind the alveolar ridge near the hard palate. It sounds as sh and sh. So it may seem confusing because of that. Though they are similar when articulated, the sh or the s looking S symbol is actually soft, like she, because there is no vibration unlike the other. The symbol that looks like a 3 or j contains vibration. So let's use an example as the S symbol or the as in she. So examples is sheep, shine, occasion, measure. Now, if we take the other one and say it, pleasure, you can hear or feel the vibration. Measure, pleasure. And that's their difference. Next, palatal. The body of the tongue rises close to the hard palate. The sound y. So when you take a look at the symbol, it looks like a letter J, but it actually isn't. Take an example here. You, yet, year, enjoy, yellow. So when you try to articulate, example, you, the tongue, not the tip, but the body, rises up the hard palate. You. Unlike earlier, like the velar, where the tip is on rises. Next is velar. The back of the tongue touches the soft palate, or velum. The sounds are k and g. Example of this are king, gauge, tongue, and song. Notice how when I articulate it, my tongue goes back. K, g. The tongue goes near or touches the soft palate. K, g. And lastly is the glottal, produced at the glottis, the space between vocal folds. Sound is. So when articulating the sound, it usually goes or happens between the space of the vocal folds. Example, happy, heat, head, heart. So when you articulate the sound of, it happens in the space between the vocal folds.
So now let us discuss the other sounds, which is the retroflex, alveolar, and the pharyngeal. And now let us first discuss what is retroflex. So the word retroflex came from the Latin, which means bent backward. So, ang retroflex daw is a type of speech sound that is made by curling the tongue lip tip slightly upward and backward toward the hard palate or root of the mouth. So here is the example of the retroflex.
Hold out the L sound and then slide the tip of your tongue back along the roof of your mouth. And then square your lips. There's your R.
So next is the ovular sounds. So ang ovular sounds are speech sounds made deeper in the mouth, near a small soft structure at the back called the ovula. So ang ovula is the little dangling parts you can see at the back of your throat when you open your mouth wide. So to produce an ovular sound, the back of the tongue moves up and the touches of comes close of the ovula. So here are the example of the ovular sounds.
Ka. Ka. Aka. Pak. Islok arpok. Kulok. Pakawakan.
So the pharyngeal sounds are speech sounds made deep in the throat in a space called the pharynx. So ang pharynx is the area behind your mouth and above your vocal cords. Basically, the upper part of your throat. So to make a pharyngeal sound, the root of the tongue or the very back part moves backward to come close to or touch the back wall of the pharynx. So this creates a narrow space that produces ionic sounds. So these sounds are not found in English, but they are used in other languages.
Good day everyone, especially to you Ma'am Lawis. I'm Jeneline Omiano. I will discuss about the manner of articulation. So what is manner of articulation? So it refers to how the airstream is obstructed as it flows from the lungs and it is released through the mouth. So we have different categories of manner of articulation. So first, we need to tackle about the plosives or what we call stops. So plosives are sounds produced by completely blocking the airflow, accumulating pressure, and then releasing it in a burst. For example, is include like P or P and B, B, T, T, and D, D, and K, K, and G, G. So these sounds are made by blocking the air using different parts of the mouth. So P and B, the P and B, P and B are bilabial stops. Bilabial stops, where the air is blocked by both lips, as in flow, and bat. T and D, T and D are alveolar stops, where the air is blocked by the tongue against the alveolar ridge, as in top and draw. K and G, K and G are velar stops, where the airflow is blocked using the back of the tongue against a soft palate, as in knock, knock, and grit. Next, the fricatives. So fricatives are sounds produced by partially blocking the air in the vocal tract, forcing it to pass through a narrow channel, creating friction. Examples is F and V, F and V. Vibration and voiceless. So is and Z, S, and Z. And then and SH and S. These sounds are made by directing the air through specific points in the mouth. For example, if and V, F and V are labiodental fricatives, where the air is forced through the lower lip and upper teeth, as in father and virtue. Vibration and voiceless are interdental fricatives, where the air is forced through the tongue and the upper teeth, as in thick, and des. So is and Z, S and Z are alveolar fricatives, where the air is forced through the alveolar ridge and tongue, as in suit, and busy. S, H, and S are palato-alveolar fricatives, where the air is pushed through the tongue and farther beyond the alveolar ridge, as in pressure, pressure, and measure, pressure and measure. Affricates. Affricates are combinations of closure and fricated sounds where the air is black and suddenly released. For examples for the affricates included the plus S and plus SH, as in church and judge. These sounds start with a stop and then release through a constrictive channel. And then the last, the approximants, are sounds produced when the articulators are brought together but not touching each other, resulting in a sound that seems like a vowel. Examples include the sounds J and W, J and W. Okay, J and W, J and W. So as in Y, and how. These sounds are produced with little friction, allowing the air to flow effortlessly through the vocal tract. In conclusion, the manner of articulation is a crucial aspect of phonetics, and understanding how different sounds are produced can help us better appreciate the complexity of language.
Now, let's talk about liquids and laterals consonants. In phonetics, liquids and laterals are types of consonants that share some unique features in how they are produced. These sounds are made by shaping the tongue in a way that partially blocks the airflow in the mouth, but not completely. Liquids are consonants where the tongue creates a partial closure in the mouth, allowing the airflow around it with little resistance. English two main liquid sounds are L as in lame, R as in red. These sounds are smooth and fluid, which is why they're called liquids. They flow more than other consonants. For laterals, the term lateral specifically refers to sounds where the air flows escapes around the sides of the tongue. It means ang hangin kinigawa sa gilid sa dila. Wala siya gaagi sa tunga. The most common lateral sound in English is L as in cell or light. Light touches the roof of the mouth, sa taas sa ba or sa typically near the alveolar ridge, blocking the center of the mouth but letting air pass along the sides of the tongue, which is giblock ang tunga sa ang center giblock, but sa gilid is makapas gihapon ang air, which is maka-produce paghihapon og sound. And then let's move on to the nasal consonants. So what is nasal consonants? It's said that nasal consonants are sounds made by redirecting the airflow through the nose, from the word nasal, nose, through the nose instead of the mouth. At this juncture, let's talk about voicing. Consonant voicing is categorized into two, and that is voice and voiceless. It's simple. When the vocal cord is vibrating, when the sound is produced, the consonant is voiced. When it is not vibrating, the consonant is voiceless. Example, boy, boy. To identify kung nag-vibrate ba ang vocal cords, imo rang ibot ang imong tudlo sa bottom sa imong neck, basta neck. So, kung mag-vibrate gano'n siya, litok nimo sa words, that is voice. Example, boy, boy. Na ay something nga nag-vibrate. Pero kung moingon ka nga, fine, fine, wala siya ga-vibrate, and that is voiceless. So, to summarize, voice is kanang mag-vibrate ang atong vocal cord. Pero, kung voiceless is, dili mag-vibrate ang atong vocal cord kung atong ilitok ang usa ka word or usa ka letter.